Welcome to TDC today, and glad you're joining us. And with us in our studio today, we have April Yetman with the Disability Tax Credit Canada. And we're going to talk a little bit about how you can actually perhaps get a refund from the government if you have a disability. Welcome to the show, April.
Thank you, Frank. It's nice to be here.
Oh, thanks for joining us. So can you tell us a little bit about what the Disability Tax Credit is?
Sure, Frank, and you're right. A lot of people don't know about the disability tax credit. So the disability tax credit is provided by Canada Revenue Agency, and it's a non-refundable tax credit used to reduce the amount of income tax you have to pay.
Okay.
That's basically what it is.
Sounds good.
And I mean, everybody wants to save. They don't want to have to pay more to the government than they have to. So it's for people who have a disability, but that's a really broad term in the sense of the disability tax credit.
For sure.
Because it's not necessarily a visible disability that will qualify. I like to put it as, or a chronic health condition can qualify. And because it's people who either have severe and prolonged physical or mental health conditions.
Okay.
So, it could be someone who is unfortunately in a wheelchair for whatever reason they've ended up there. Or it could be someone who has mental health issues and is, these are ongoing, prolonged issues that have a severe impact on their life. The CRA, which is the Canada Revenue Agency, indicates that it has to affect their life at least 90% of the time.
So when they receive the tax credit, then I guess they're accounting for that the medication, the support, the help that this individual needs. I guess that's what they're doing, right?
Really, that's why the credit exists for people with disabilities, because there are added expenses in their life. There's, as you say, medications, there's equipments, there's extra counseling, and a number of things that are not supplied by OHIP, or some people are lucky enough to have private insurance, but there are a lot of people that don't.
So I know of someone, for example, who has dialysis, and he does the dialysis at home.
Okay.
And he has to, there's a lot of equipment that's involved with that. So someone like that may qualify.
I would imagine that they would qualify. It's hard to say absolutely, because the government is always, they have the final say.
Right.
And we work with clients, and that's really important to note, that we work with our clients to help and achieve the best possible application with all the key points that are met, so that we hopefully get through the approval process the first time.
Right.
We understand what the government's criteria is. We understand what they're looking for, what documents need to be included. Because, as you say, the disability may be very evident to the person who has the condition, but the government needs very specific information.
So there's a lot of back-end work that happens with that whole process of applying.
Absolutely. And the first time I applied for the credit, I did it through a firm very similar to what we're doing now.
Right.
I would like to think that I'm a fairly intelligent person and I can manage paperwork and that sort of thing for myself. But I became very overwhelmed with the process and trying to do it myself. So I was really happy to have someone to support me and to walk me through the process.
So what should, if someone comes to you and they want to apply for this tax credit, what things should they be having to bring to you in terms of, enabling that process to, be a little bit quicker? What things do they have to do on their part that's going to help?
The number one thing is that we connect and we discuss their medical condition. And I can generally give people an understanding of whether or not that will qualify them or if it's worth proceeding with the application. And the most important thing is the medical criteria that the doctor provides. And the application itself has to be filled out by their medical practitioner, be it a specialist or a GP, but they need to have a regular like a consistent relationship with that medical practitioner. And generally we include file notes, maybe some notes regarding hospitalization, that sort of thing with the application.
Yeah, so it's kind of consistent. There's a paper trail should they need to kind of look at that or review that process, right?
Absolutely. It's a very beneficial program, the disability tax credit. But a lot of people don't know it exists. And it's unfortunate because a lot of people can really benefit from this program. And the fact that it does give them a break on the amount of income tax they have to pay. And one thing that's really amazing about this program is once you are approved for the tax credit, if your condition, let's say, has existed for the last 15, 20 years, you actually can go back with Revenue Canada for the past 10 years retroactively and have them reassess your income tax based on the disability tax credit.
Wow.
So some people will receive a lump sum payment of a credit based on that reassessment when they first start out with the registered with their disability tax credit, which is an awesome opportunity for a lot of people. Now, if you've only had the condition for 2 years, you're not going to receive that same kind of benefit. But there's a lot of people that have had conditions for a long time and who haven't been aware of this opportunity. And for those people moving forward, and for anyone, it makes a big difference going forward.
Oh, sure.
And one key thing that's really important that even I didn't know about, and the firm that I worked with initially did not tell me anything about this, is the Registered Disability Savings Plan.
I was going to ask you about that.
Frank, I could smack myself in the head for the amount of years that I didn't know about this program.
So tell us about this.
So once you're approved for the disability tax credit, you automatically receive a number that is then allows you to open a registered disability savings account.
Excellent.
You do that with any bank in Canada.
Right.
They give you a number, you go into the bank and they set that up for you. So it's a tax-free savings account.
Perfect.
Which is great. You start saving for your future. Perhaps you are a parent of a dependent child. You can start saving for their future. But the government offers bonds and grants for that savings account.
So what's the difference?
So a bond is an automatic amount that they will contribute regardless of what you have contributed annually to your savings account. And the grant is an amount that you apply for based on how much you have contributed that year to your registered disability savings account.
Wow.
So the max amount you can put into your RDSP is $200,000. And the max amount you can receive from the government is huge. It's $70,000.
So let's put it in perspective though. So if I'm going to save money, basically what you're saving is there's a grant that's given up front, and then if you put money into your savings account, the savings piece, the government kind of matches that, right?
Basically.
Okay, that's great. That's awesome. Because a lot of individuals, right, they have a disability, things get a little bit difficult for them, or they want to save for their dependents. And this is a great way to save for their future, right? I mean, you want to make sure there's stability there, right?
Absolutely. And when you have a life-impacting health condition, you don't know what your future is.
Exactly.
And you don't know if you can continue working for the next 20, 30, 40 years of your life.
So true.
So it's nice to start now. And the key important factor with the Registered Disability Savings Plan is that these contributions from the government only happen up until the age of 49.
Okay, so that's sort of the milestone kind of cutoff.
That's right. So you
Okay.
need to make sure that you take the advantage of it up until the age of 49
Okay,
because they're no longer eligible.
See, this is really good information to know. And this is and this is the thing, like you're working with individuals to guide them through this whole process. And there is a lot of paperwork, there's a lot of things to do in terms of trying to understand sort of the policies and procedures and what information and documentation you have to have. So this is where it's helpful that you come in and you guide those individuals through that whole process.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if they decide at some point, in the beginning, once we've met and we've discussed it with them, if they want to continue on their own, then by all means, after that meeting, they can proceed on their own. But a lot of people do find, as I found the first time, it was completely overwhelming. And it's nice to have someone on your side.
So then there is obviously some type of fee involved with this process, right?
There
The
is
service.
a fee.
It's a service, right?
It is a service, and there's
Yeah.
a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes. And we do charge a 25% fee
Right.
of whatever money the person receives in their lump sum payment.
Right.
So that is if we can go back
Right.
and get money from their reassessments of their income tax up to a maximum of the past 10 years, then we do charge a 25% fee of that amount.
Right.
And the nice thing that makes us really different with working with Owlware and the Disability Tax Credit Canada is that all of the funds received from that fee go back into Owlware and providing the amazing training and employment programs that we offer to our clientele, which are people with disabilities. So it's a win-win
Yeah, it's
for
a huge
everyone.
difference. So it all goes back into programming, skills, upgrading for clients, training, employment, pre-employment workshops, all that, because that all costs. It's a service, right? So that's amazing.
It is. It's a great opportunity. And at the same time, some of the people that come to us to talk about their disability tax credit become a client of ours
Right.
with the Owlware, and
Right.
we help them if they want to get back to work or
Right.
if they want to create new skills.
Right.
So it's really a multifaceted service with a lot of opportunity for people.
So I bet you there's a lot of people watching now to say, how do I get involved? How do I speak to April, right? So maybe you can get our viewers sort of a contact information that they may need.
Absolutely, and I would love to speak with anyone who has questions. And the one key thing about the fee is if we do not recover past funds for you, there's no fee involved. So that's
can't
really
lose.
important to remember,
Yeah,
right?
good point.
And you can reach me. I'll give you my cell phone number. It's 416-524-1925. And you can go to our website, which is www.disabilitytaxcreditcanada.com. So again, that website is disabilitytaxcreditcanada.com. And please feel free to call me anytime you have questions. I'm really happy to answer any questions that you might have because we're here to help. We're here to help you get what you deserve from the provincial and federal government.
Well, that's great. Thanks, April, for joining us today. Great information. I'm sure you're going to get a lot of calls.
That's my pleasure, and I look forward to it, Frank. We really want to help people get what they're owed and moving forward to make their life a little bit easier, hopefully.
Well, thanks so much again for joining us, and thank
Thank
you, viewers, for joining us on the Disability Channel Today show. And coming up next, we're going to talk to Chef Smiley. Yes, Chef Smiley. I know there's a lot of fans out there. We're going to talk to him about what's been going on with him, and we may do a little bit of cooking too. So stay tuned, don't go away. We'll be right back.